I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jess. We're Primas, and this is the Primas Podcast. We're just two women born and raised in LA.
Join us every week as we discuss topics on human behavior from our lens.
Okay, Eli, we're done. Can you make sure you do the punk rock one?
Let's go!
We are live. Stop.
That's how you start the show.
I told you. Hello. Welcome back, family. Welcome to the Primas Podcast. I am Cindy. What's up, primas y primos? Prima, happy 2021.
Happy New Year, Prima. I'm so excited to be recording again. Our first time in 3 weeks. Let's do it.
I'm super excited to be back. Yes, happy New Year to everybody. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. This is season 2, and we're trying to create a safe space in our podcast community, a welcoming and respectful space. And I just want to shout out one of my favorite podcasts is The Brilliant Idiots. I think it's one of Eloy's favorite podcasts too. I love when they say, if you think we're brilliant, that's great. And I'm summarizing. This isn't like word for word. And they say, if you think we're idiots, that's great too. That's true too. So I think our podcast is something that I used to say in our first season was it's very unique. It's from our unique perspective, just so that people understood that if we said something that didn't coincide with them or that they believe the opposite, that it was okay. And so I want to be intentional about being a welcoming community, even if you do have opposing views. Is something that I kind of just wanted to throw out into the universe. And since we're talking about New Year, New Me on this first episode, I wanted to start season 2. I'm so happy we started in January because that's the talk right now, right? Like New Year, New Me. Regardless of whether you have set goals or not, 2020 was really crazy. And I think this is a great opportunity to just kind of go with the flow and throw out like a fresh start mentality. So yeah, I'm excited.
Me too, Prima. And New Year, new us. You guys just saw our new intro, which that's what we are working on for 2 weeks. You know, we're very amateur. We're learning as we go along. So we really hope you guys enjoyed it. We're trying something different. We want to continue to be on our YouTube channel. So we wanted a little bit more visual to go along with our audio. So yeah, New Year, new us. Definitely on our journey right now.
And shout out to everybody who helped us. When Jess said intro, she's talking about the intro of the YouTube video. So like we put a lot of work and effort, and it wasn't just us. It was also Eloy, Martin, Victor, our production crew. And then Karenina, shout out to her because she helped us with like our little visual cartoon faces. And I just really love her art. I love the colors. So shout out to everybody who has helped us start our second season and our, I guess, new branding of the Primas Podcast. So I wanted to go off of the energy, as I mentioned, of 2021. And we wanted to talk about goal setting and how important it is to either visualize your goal, write it down. All of these things are so important. It's things that we do. It's stuff that's helped us with the podcast, in our personal lives. And so we're going to talk about goal setting and how to start the year fresh and motivated, and then how to stay motivated through 2021. Because just because 2020 is over, we have no idea what to expect with 2021. We already started the year a little rough. If you guys know what's going on, first of all, Kim and Kanye getting a divorce. No, I'm playing. But in all seriousness, like there's a lot going on. Jessica just mentioned right before we started recording, you know, the whole Trump stuff and people rallying over there, which we'll get into that conversation in another episode. But don't let any distractions get in your way. And so that's the first thing I want to talk about is limiting our distractions. I think for me, this past year has been a little bit easier because I'm more centered. And I feel that I'm more centered because I'm more intentional about my distractions. One of my biggest distractions, I think for a lot of people, is our phones, right? Or our technology, our computers, our laptops, whatever, our technology, whatever our preference is. Um, I made a goal for myself to be a more present mom because I parallel parent. I don't know if you guys remember from the first season, we talked about co-parenting, parallel parenting. And so I share my daughter with her dad and we share time with her. So when I am with her, because I do work a lot and I have a lot of side projects, when I'm with her, I like to be 100% with her. And so one of my goals was to, as soon as I get home from like 4 to I think 6, if I could, put my phone away. And my phone is also always on silent. That's been a practice of mine for a really, really long time, just because you can get alerts all day, every day if your phone's on silent. And then I started to put it on vibrate for a long time, and then finally I just set it to silent. And I'm like, if anybody's gonna call me, we're gonna have it set up, unless it's my family, But for the most part, yeah, that's what's helped me. So, Jess, is there anything that you would say is something that you're looking forward to with regards to goal setting or 2021, just getting out of 2020?
Definitely. Not the distractions, because during the holiday I did get an Apple Watch, which is like even more attached to me. I fell into the trap. For 2021, my thing is always motivation, setting up, thinking, visualizing it. We, like when we mentioned about the manifestation law of attraction episode, visualizing what we see and what we want for this year. And I am looking forward to this year. I see a lot of going up. And one thing every year that, again, as I mentioned, was about motivation. Motivation comes from within us, and no one's going to do anything for us. So I just feel like when I hear people tell me about their goals and their goal setting, they're like, oh, well, I'll start next year or I'll do it another time. But you don't have to wait until next year again, until January 1st to continue your goals or to get back on track with whatever goals you had from last year. Every day is a new day to attempt at your dreams, to go for whatever you've been wanting to do. And yeah, so just motivation in general. Mm-hmm.
I like that you said that. So Jess and I wanted to introduce this a little bit. From the intro video, we are from LA. I live in Aurora, Colorado, which is like right next to Denver, Colorado. But Jess and I both studied psychology, and it's just a topic that we really, really enjoy, and we still practice to this day. So I'm glad you brought up motivation, because even though we're talking about 2021 in January and setting, goals and all that stuff, one way to keep motivated is that if you set a goal, let's say for me, I say put my phone away. There's times that I forget, or there's times that I'm conditioned, right? Like we all are. I'm like, I got to check my phone. It's been an hour. Or, and there's just times where I'm frustrated, whatever it is, the next day or whenever I'm feeling better, I start over. And I think that's as realistic as it's going to be when you set goals to stay motivated. It's easy to just give up, right? If you're like, I had a horrible weekend, I messed up, or I had a horrible month, I messed up, that's it. And it's like, no, we're human. There's so many conditions being thrown at us. There's so much trauma, that we're still dealing with as adults. I mean, we deal with trauma for the rest of our lives, right? And so motivation is key, but it's hard to stay motivated the whole entire year. So one thing I am gonna, kind of say to that is start over the next day. Start over when you feel mentally ready again. Don't give up on whatever that goal is, because your goal is very important for the world. I think when I was looking for different things to talk about, one thing that I noticed was that I want to be very intentional about everything we talk about, whether we're right or wrong, right? Like the Brilliant Idiots podcast, we just want to talk about it. And I feel like that sparks interest because we're talking about psychology. And I think psychology is okay. So psychology is the study of human behavior, and it's just all the way that we behave, the way that we act, the way that we react to stressors, to happiness, right? All of it is going on around us. And I think it's important to share. So I wanted all of our topics to be intentional and to give back because it's for the greater good. So whatever your goal is, even if it's so personal to you and it's just like I'm going to stop eating McDonald's um as much as I do, right? If I'm going 3 times a week for breakfast, I'm going to go once a week. Maybe that's your goal, right? So sticking to your goal, you're putting out really positive energy into the universe. Waking up with your trauma, with your stress, with everything that's going on, and you still sticking to something, however big or small, you're putting out powerful energy into the universe. And so, yeah, I think goal setting, like I said, if you're like, I don't feel good, maybe I'll start on March, whatever it is, every time you try to make yourself better, whatever that is, you're already doing something great for the world. So, yeah, believe in
Good,
yourself.
Prima. I like
Yep.
that. And I like how you just summarized it because it's so true. And then like what went off for me was like that light bulb. I know you're not a huge fan of her, but I'm still reading her book, even though I know we're not in book club. Also, I'm continuously reading that Amanda Seales, Small Doses. And in that book, she has a chapter called Hustle and Grind. I mean, hustle versus grind. And to me, I've always like used those words the same, right? To me, I thought they were synonyms. But when I was reading that chapter during this break, like a light bulb went off, you know? And she kind of brings those words or breaks them down a little bit. And I like her analogy of these words. Like she always says, hustle is a mindset and your grind is your action behind your thoughts. And I like that because it just applied to exactly what you and I are doing. Our hustle is our full-time jobs, doing what we need to do during the week. And our grind is this, putting time and money essentially into our dreams, into something that motivates us, that pushes us to be outside of our comfort zone. And again, before that break, I've always used those two words the same. But this year, I'm going in with that mindset that I don't want to get lost in that hamster wheel of a hustle. Like, well, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. And I don't need to be doing a million things at once. I need to and focus my energy and time into one project, maybe a few projects, whatever I feel. And then the grind is the action behind it. So I'm not just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna be doing this today or this in a week and waiting for something or waiting for you, Cindy, to say to do this with the podcast. Like I'm gonna take that initiative. I'm gonna get the ball rolling for myself because I just think that's a good example, like not waiting for anyone to just hand you these opportunities. It's like we need to do the grinding, we need to do the action. And that's where I think motivation also comes in, right? Because it's so easy to just say these things and think about them, but it's even harder to push yourself and be like, okay, every day I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go run. That's not me, but that's some people's dreams and grind. But mine, like this week, was to meal prep. I keep saying I want to start eating healthier. And after our photo shoot, Cindy, like you flaunting your 6-pack, which I don't appreciate. And Eloy didn't edit my 6-pack as I had asked. It's just that, like those little motivations, like, okay, Jess, I can't keep saying these things. Like I need to put action behind those dreams.
Yes.
So,
One of my goals for 2021, I have ongoing goals. So one of the ones that I really did say for this year, you mentioned it, Jess. It's so crazy. We are so aligned because
we're the same person. We're not aligned.
We are one.
It's like we're living in a parallel universe, but you're in Aurora and I'm in LA. It's like we're the same.
We're the same people. You're welcome, world. Anyway, there's two of us. Eli's like, damn it, exactly. There's two of you. No, but so one thing that I did find myself doing, I think the past 4 years, or I guess whenever the idea dawned on me that I wanted to be like an entrepreneur, right? Like it's entrepreneur age, so everyone's like, I can do it. I'm like, Mom, we're gonna sell potatoes. It's gonna be fine. The YouTube video said so. But no, yeah, I just started to fill myself up with things. And this year humbled me because it's like, you need to slow down. Your bills are getting paid. You're blessed. You're blessed. You're eating. You have food. Your daughter's healthy. You're healthy. And just one of my jobs really does push me to my limit where I have to slow down. And for me, that was the universe or whatever, right? Like my energy, what my goals. It's like in order for you to reach your long-term goals, you need to practice today on how to relax. Because what good is it, right now that we're talking about goal setting, pick 3 goals. If you're like a great goal achiever, pick 10, 15, whatever. But to be realistic, out of all of the things that I set for myself last year, none of them got done. Maybe the podcast, like there's little things that got done, but just I I did too much and none of it was quality because I was doing too much. And so one of my goals for 2021 is to meditate more because I need to slow down my thoughts. I need to slow down my brain. When I feel frustrated, it's because, and this literally happened yesterday with Jessica while we were prepping and practicing. Um, I just was so confused. I felt very cloudy. And it's because yeah, I have too much going on. And so like I had to sit down and relax. I don't like snapping on people. I don't like coming off as rude or impatient but I feel it. When I do that, I feel it right away and it does not feel good. And so I apologized to Jess. I didn't know if she noticed because we're all always like busy and talking and we squeezed a meeting in while our kids were around, so it was kind of like hectic anyway, but yes, I just love that you said there's so much going on and I just wanted to say that one of my things is to slow down, and that helps. Meditation helps with that. Meditation helps slowing down. So my goal is to meditate more, like every single day. I stopped meditating at the end of the year, and literally that's when my issues got crazier. And I kept telling myself, you put it back into your schedule. What are you doing? Put it back into your schedule. And life humbled me as it does, and I'm thankful for that.
Thanks, Prima, for like admitting that. I know it's hard and we need to be transparent on this podcast. That's what we're here for, to like show like, hey guys, even though as much as we like to talk and think we have it together, we're still learning. And 100%, I always have your back. And I even told you in the beginning of the new year, I felt it. I even told you, I'm like, Cindy, you need to slow down. You're like, it's cool. I got it. But that's not for me to tell you anything, it's like for you to make that realization. And here we are, like a week later, you see it. And that's amazing. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's like getting out of that hustle mindset where we're not just spinning all the time, because I've been a victim of that. I think I got stuck in that hamster wheel of like a hustle in 2019. And so last year I did slow down. I did focus my time and energy on each project, because of all the stressors and the physical stress it took on my body in 2019. I was like, no, never again. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to. And in 2020, I started doing things. I started going to therapy. I started conditioning my mind into a different way of thinking, and it's little by little, these baby steps that 100%, Cindy, what you just admitted to, it's like, we have to catch ourselves because no one's going to do it for anyone else,
Yes. It's
So
always
thank
better
you.
when you see it for yourself. As much as we want to tell someone, like when we see something, we're like, why are you like, until you feel it feel it for yourself. That's how I learned. I know everyone's different, but I always know too, it just does. I feel weird and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And then I start thinking and then it's like, no, you're not meditating, you're like going 110 miles. And yeah, so the other thing that I wanted to say is that when we goal set, like as we start the year, we talk a lot about stepping outside of your comfort zone. And so I want to say, don't be comfortable where you are. Always aspire to be better. That's what life is about. That's what the human experience is about in our at least perspective. And so if you're like, I can't do it, there's no way I can get the body that I wanted, or eat healthy, or exercise, or go to therapy, fix the relationship with my partner, fix the relationship with my kids, right? Get deeper into what type of relationship do you want with your kids. I think for me, when I became a mom, everything changed because I knew, even, with my background in psychology, I knew that my daughter was going to do what I did, not what I said, what she sees me and everybody else in her environment do. It's going to mold her. She's her own person. Kids are their own people, but they're taking from their environment. That's what we do. That's how humans learn. And so I think my goal for being a mom wasn't to be controlling, wasn't to like mold my child into what I wanted to be when I was a kid. No, it was to allow her to be free. So then I had to practice freedom myself. I had to realize, well, what does that really mean? I wanted her to be, peaceful and at peace with the world and in harmony. And so like all of these things led to me saying, I need to take care of myself then. I need to eat healthy. I need to work on my finances and talk about it so that she's aware. I need to, right? Like everything that I want to pass on and model, I have to do it for myself because I can tell her eat healthy. I can tell her you should work out or, you should be physically active or whatever it is. No, if I do it, she's going to do it. And she's starting to. She started maybe not on her own, right? But she knows now, like she was playing with her Barbies earlier and I just overheard her and she's just like, no, stop eating junk food. That's not good for your body. Even though we all love junk food and so does she you give her anything and she'll eat it. Um, she's making the connection. When I tell her that I respect myself, part of that is respecting my body, right? And so like I tell her that a lot and I don't know what sticks, but kids are listening because she shocked me when she said that. And so it was just cute. It was nice. And it's just, don't be comfortable where you're at. Understand and know that we're here for a bigger purpose. And if you want a better body, if you want to be healthier, if you want to have a healthier relationship, communication with your partner, with your kids, with your mom, your dad, whoever that is, it's never too late. I guess that's the other thing I wanted to throw out there. It's never too late. It's better that we're putting out positivity, and you put out positivity by trying, just by trying your best every single day, or in challenging situations when you take the high road, when you try, or when you hold yourself accountable, like what I just did earlier, right? When I said, I felt a little snappy during the meeting. I didn't like how it came off to my cousin. I don't know if she even caught it, but regardless, I caught it, and I need to say something. I need to make it right. And because a lot of the time I'll say something and Jessica's like, oh, I didn't notice, or whatever. And I'm just like, regardless, I want a good relationship and a professional and healthy relationship with my cousin. And therefore, what do I got to do? And it's owning things like, hey, you know what? Sorry if my energy was weird. I have this going on. That's not an excuse. I'm going to work on it, but know that I acknowledged it. I'm holding myself accountable. And that's powerful energy. And that's also good for your karma. And we talked a lot about that in the first season.
Well said, Prima. Definitely, I'm going to talk about you all week in therapy. I have like a paragraph of like venti notes. So I did notice, but thank you for acknowledging it.
I was your trigger?
That's
I was
gross
your trigger
right
this
there.
week?
Mm-hmm.
I was Jessica's trigger this week.
No, but you're absolutely right. And exactly what you just said. I just lost my train of thought. You said something and I was thinking about it. What was I thinking about?
I said, don't be comfortable where you are. It's never too late.
Yes. Never. And it goes with the goal setting that we were talking about. Don't compare yourself to anyone else's progress or where they are in their life. Like, look at me. I'm a great example of not doing things, not conforming to society's construct of a time frame of when things are supposed to get done. Like I went back to school and it took me 12 years to get a BA. When on average, it takes people 4 years. I know people my age who are doctors or who have a master's. And I'm like, hey, amazing to you, but that's not the life choices I made for myself. Like that's cool. Like eventually I'm going to get there, but I'm 31 and this is where I'm at right now. And I'm happy, like I'm content with my choices. So if that's anything else I can add to like our new goals, new me thing is don't compare yourself to anybody, because believe it or not, you don't know what that person's going through. And we have these assumptions like, oh, well, this person seems happy or this person seems that, but it's like, we're psych majors. So we just always like are analyzing people. We're like, nope, they're hiding this with projection. Nope, they're doing that. Just kidding. That was a psych joke.
But hey, I have another psychology joke. How many doctors does it take to unscrew a light bulb? Or no, how many psychologists does it take to unscrew a light bulb?
I've heard it, but I don't know the answer. Enlighten me.
None. It takes no doctors because the light bulb has to be ready to be unscrewed. And isn't that hilarious?
Oh my God, wouldn't that be hilarious?
I
Okay,
love
anyways,
it.
shout out to the East LA College Psychology Club 2006. We were 10 deep. But anyway, so I wanted to also say that something that really helps to stay motivated is to center yourself, and how can you things that's worked for me, and I'm not saying it's going to work for you depending on your environment, is solitude. And what do I mean? I love alone time. I moved to Colorado 8, 9, 10 years ago, somewhere around there. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it really forced me outside of my comfort zone because my family, I love them so much, and they're so on my side. I have a lot of support in LA. And so when I moved over here, it really forced me to be alone, and it just helped with my spiritual growth. So I'm very thankful that this happened, even though I suffered a lot mentally, right? That was where I was at, because there were so many beautiful things happening. I was already pretty independent, but my grandparents just always had my back. In LA, like I just knew that I still have a room there. And just shout out to everybody in LA who has my back, because I know that it could have been a little bit easier for me had I stayed or went back. But coming out here really forced me to figure all of my thoughts out on my own, and that's really helped with my growth. So if you have a big family, or if you live in a big city and you're just kind of like solitude, like that's impossible. It doesn't mean go to the extreme like me where I just enjoy being a loner now, but creating a little bit of time for just yourself. If that's your shower, I know people who come out of work, get in and out of the shower because they have to go back, they have to now be with their family, right? Um, so maybe I don't know how to say it, but you have to find some time for yourself. You have to. And if you're in a relationship and you do have a big family, I think a good way to practice that is by telling your significant other, hey, we need to take time for ourselves. Not just you. Share that with your partner and tell them, like, whatever it is, whatever I can support you on. If you need 30 minutes to go for a walk, if you need to go to the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know what I mean? Whatever that looks like, it's very important for us to get that alone time so we can be with our own thoughts. And it's not going to feel right in the beginning if you've never done this, because it didn't feel right for me for years. When I was in Colorado, I would cry a lot. Um, and this was before I had my daughter, just when it was just like me and my mom. But, me and my mom, we have like an up and down relationship. So, it's not what I have in LA. In LA, I'll just call somebody and it's just boom. My mom's not like that. So, and that's okay. But that also has helped with my spiritual growth, is that my mom doesn't come through all the time because it forced me to be more independent. So, anyway, I just wanted to say that part's really important. It's really helped me be better at meal prepping, be more disciplined. It's all of that alone time that when I did get into a relationship or when I did have people around me, that's when it became hard for me to stick to my goals, because I just kind of started getting used to being alone. But that's extreme. I'm not telling anybody to be alone or be a loner. I'm just saying find that solitude so that you can start questioning your thoughts, because when we're always around someone or in a hectic environment, it's difficult for us to be grounded and centered.
You're right. Like you said earlier, it gets kind of foggy up there. So
Yes.
that's a great way to eliminate distractions. And as crazy as that is, that's sometimes your thoughts, that's what causes anxiety and stress. It's like us thinking about something that hasn't even happened. So it's good to just bring yourself back and aligned. We say that all the time. We need to be aligned, mind, body, and soul, for us to be functioning at our 100% like capacity.
Yes. And I'm glad you said when we are worried or feeling anxious, it's because we're thinking of the future or the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that connects it again, because we're one person. Um, Mindfulness and meditation literally is being in the present moment. Um, and so, like you said, when we worry, we're either thinking about the past or the future, something that hasn't even happened yet, or something that doesn't exist anymore. Yesterday doesn't exist anymore. As much as we want to dwell on what happened, it serves us no good, because there's nothing we can do about it. It already happened. We can learn from it, but for you to really have any type of mental energy go towards something that happened in the past or in the future, which is really hard to do. I'm not a master meditator, like I still worry about the future and the past, but that's a good one. Is just know that whenever you are worried, come back to the present moment. Come back to the present moment. Even if you're worried about how am I going to pay your rent? How am I going to pay my rent? Like, guess what? Thinking about it and worrying about it isn't going to get you to figure out how you're going to pay your rent. But if you relax, a lot of clarity comes through. If you pray, if you meditate, if you ask the universe or whoever your spiritual, leader is, you ask and you receive. And I'm saying that from me. I know that when I'm calm and I can see things clearly, things start flowing. It's so crazy. It's very miraculous. It's very godly, and it happens. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Stay in the present moment. So one other thing I wanted to share was that for those of you that maybe are a little bit more on the lonelier side, and I don't mean lonely in a bad way, and I'm going to speak on this more, I guess, in this season. I'm going to open up a little bit more about myself, but because there are some people that enjoy being alone, or not necessarily alone, but like just in their little family, or just with them and their partner, or just with, you know what I mean, like whatever it is, they're more like, well, we just do things, with ourselves. That's cool too. And I wanted to encourage you, because it gets weird a little bit. You stop relating to others, right? Once you start kind of like getting into your little set or your own little environment, and you start really achieving your goals, and you start being healthy mind, body, and soul, and you start really moving outside of your comfort zone, it gets lonely. And that's what ended up happening to me. I started to get a little bit more disciplined, and I just kind of knew that in order for me to really fulfill what I needed to be ruthless with my time management, especially after I had my daughter. My time changed. Like the way that I looked at time just really, really changed for me. And now, after being out here for so long, it feels really good. But now when I have to go into the real world, it's weird. I don't like it anymore. Like I think it's cool, but I can only do it for maybe like 3 days, and then I need to just retreat. And I feel this every time I go to LA or anytime I travel, because I'm getting outside of my comfort zone, right? I'm going into a different space, into different environments, and I don't know, I feel like you sometimes find that you get quieter because you can't relate, and you don't want to be the weird person. You want people to still accept you, especially if you love, like for me, I'm around my family. And so, it's just some of the topics going on. I'm like, I don't know, I have nothing to share on that, or, whatever it is, it does get lonely, but it's okay, I guess is what I wanted to say. Like, don't worry if it's just you and your cat, if it's just you and your partner, if it's just you and your roommate, whatever that looks like. um, it's okay that once you separate yourself, I think, from the pack, you're going to be different. That's going to happen naturally. Was that a weird rant?
A little.
So I hope with this conversation, we touched a little bit on how to stay motivated, or on how to get remotivated. If you lose motivation, don't worry, don't be harsh on yourself, but get back up, and don't let it be too long. Of course, when people get depressed, or when life-changing events happen, it takes a while, but I think it's important that you stay mindful. I think it's important that you still accomplish your goals, even if crazy stuff happens. I heard something earlier that said, use your energy constructively. So I think when we're in high stress situations, that's when like our real character comes out. Like, right, we've heard that before. And if you can try to be calm in those situations by taking deep breaths, by focusing on the positives, by changing maybe your thoughts at the moment. Sometimes I can't do anything, and even to take a deep breath, I'm like, duh, whatever, I can't do it. So I'm like, change what you're thinking about. Change what you're thinking about. Just think about something else, because whatever you're doing, it's negative and it's not going to help anyways. So, yeah, I hope everyone has a great January. I'm so excited to be back. We're so excited for our new topics. I think even in this topic, we're starting to like open up a little bit more about ourselves, which is what we want to do. Because I love what you said earlier, Jess. You said we're not perfect. You know, we still get shy, we still get embarrassed, we're still beginners at this podcast thing. We've learned a lot in season 1, but this is season 2, so bear with us. We're in the part where we're like, oh, okay, we got the hang of this, but I feel season 4 might be the one. No, I'm just playing. Who knows? But we're definitely still stepping outside of our comfort zone, and we encourage you to do the same. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, but it's so worth it. That's where the real happens, is when you step outside. Because if you stay comfortable, I don't know, for me, that's not living. And I'm not judging, but if there's little aspects in your life that you're like, man, I really want to do that, but right, we all get that. Like, I really want to do this, but then we start thinking of the 110 reasons why, no, that's not going to happen. Eliminate that. Try to find, oh, okay, so sorry, before we end, I wanted to say, I write a lot on my mirror in my bathroom, like with a dry erase marker, but you can also write with a Sharpie. If it's permanent, it comes off with alcohol. So, you know how you always have like mistakes, like when you're in school? Like, somebody wrote in, so yeah, we found out that alcohol will remove it, like with the cotton swab. So it's important to visualize. A lot of people do vision boards. I'm not into vision boards, but I love them. I'm not into them just because I'm like, when am I going to find all these pictures? If I really think about printing, I'm not going to do it. I'm too much of a hippie to like, you know? So vision boards are great. I love them. I have like a digital vision board with my Pinterest, but I don't have a physical one. But what really helps me is to look at my goals every single morning on my mirror. And sometimes they're small. Sometimes it's like lead by example. But I know what that means. I know why I wrote that. I know why it touched me in my heart. And I know what that means, right? Or now my daughter is starting to say, can I write some stuff too? And so, like I said, they're watching. And so you want to lead by example, because if you do something positive for yourself, if you complete your goal, if you set a goal, if you write it down on the kitchen, wherever, you're going to impact your environment. You're going to impact those around you. Even if they don't live in your house, that energy of productivity and positivity and believing in yourself is very powerful. So believe in yourself. We believe in you. Thank you for listening.
Yay,
Any
guys.
closing?
No, I think it was a great, amazing first episode back. New year, new us.
Yes. Thanks for rocking with us. Please share us. Um, Even though we're back, I didn't feel like we took too much of a break because we were still doing a lot of like behind the scenes stuff, which was really cool. But I was really excited to record today. I was nervous. Yesterday I wasn't ready. Jessica knows. But today I was like, no, I'm excited. Like, just to, start getting into that rhythm again. I'm really excited. And I look forward to see where this year's going to take us. Stay motivated, stay positive, be gentle with yourself, love those around you, spread love and positivity. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Bye.
Bye.